Alright, good morning y'all. So we have a reaction video this time, and this is a bit different because I have a couple of announcements to make here off the rip. I am going to be starting a new thing on my channel. It's unique. I don't see a whole lot of people do anything like this. It's I'm gonna call it Retroactive Rants. I'll find a video from a few years ago or some and respond to it, because I'm keeping a buck 50 with y'all. Sometimes things get hectic and I ain't got time to respond to drama that happens like as time goes on. So I feel like responding to past things and taking a look back, taking a step back, would be pretty neat. So TLDR, for those of you who don't want to watch however long this video is going to be, Verlisify made a video talking about a situation that happened on TV, right? About someone talking about they cheat their Pokemon or whatever. And regardless of what your stance is, okay guys, regardless of what your stance is, I don't support cheating, but at the same time, as long as you are not doing something that you would not be able to do otherwise, it's not that big a deal. And that's what Verlisify here doesn't seem to understand. So yeah, a quick backstory, by the way, on Verlisify before we start this video. For the last 8 years, he has been going on and on and on about Wolf Glick, because Verlisify, okay, what a lot of people don't know, he is salty because I don't think he's even made it to Worlds. So he is just very salty. He's an angry, hateful person, and he despises people who do better than him. So with, I think I covered everything I wanted to cover in the intro, so let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into it.
If you thought the Pokemon cheating controversy couldn't get any crazier after what happened at the World Championships, think again, because Pokemon was mentioned on the television show Survivor. Now, Pokemon fans might be thinking, yo, that's really cool that our community is getting more attention, even though Pokemon is the largest franchise on Earth. Problem: you take the average Pokemon fan, you throw them in a social setting, and they're going to talk about hacking Pokemon.
Oh, Verlis. We're not even 30 seconds into the video, and you're already lying. Like, bro, what? Not everyone in the Pokemon community talks about hacking Pokemon, you understand that, right? Most of us don't. Most of us just talk about what we like about the franchise or the games or whatever. But you over here, you have to find a problem with literally everything. I understand, you know, if someone brings cheated Pokemon to a tournament, yeah, that's an issue. I could see there being an issue with that. But let me ask you something, Verlis. When it is someone who is either playing with friends or just having the Pokemon in their solo space there, what is it any of your damn business? Like, yeah, again, don't bring them to tournaments, right? Because then I can agree with you that's wrong. Because, you know, it's not entirely fair for you to have a hacked Pokemon in a tournament when someone else put the work in to get their team put together. I 100% understand and accept that take. What I can't accept is you sitting here and trying to make it out like the problem is worse than it actually is. That's what I cannot get behind. And that's what the rest of the community cannot get behind. And then let's talk about the cheating controversy at Worlds. Let's talk about that. The only controversial part of Worlds that I remember is some kid got disqualified because he was nervous. No joke. When they were asking for pronouns, the kid gave a nervous laugh and they disqualified him for that. That's the most controversial thing I remember happening at Worlds, but I did hear about people getting disqualified for cheating, which again, don't cheat in a competitive environment. There is this thing called competitive integrity, and I believe you need to have it if you are going to compete in any capacity with anything. So obviously, yes, cheating is wrong. We all agree on that. But what Verlisify does here is he takes it a step further and tries to make it out like if someone cheats, it's the end of the world, they should have their life ruined. That's what he tries to make it out like, and that's wrong.
So, the dude with the blue bandana was talking about, like, yeah, Pokemon Go, and the other guy's like, yeah, I'm a competitive Pokemon player, the pink shirt. He said, dude, I honestly pay the people to hack the guys I need. And that means everyone outside the Pokemon community just got a taste of how bad the cheating problem is inside of Pokemon. Gets even crazier, so this dude quoted Wolf because washed cheater Wolf Glick talked about it. Heard the word Magearna on live television, gamers rise up. He really can't say anything without being a scumbag, can he?
So here's where we start having some actual issues, okay, Verlisify? Here's where we're going to start having actual issues. People on the outside of the community don't entirely know what happens on the inside. That's natural, that's normal for any community. However, why are you sitting here blowing it out of proportion, trying to make it seem worse than it is? I mean, a lot of you remember I was pretty big into the competitive scene in Pokemon a while back. I still kind of am, I play occasionally, just not as much as I used to. From experience, I will tell you, it's not even close to what Verlisify says. And when it came to, so in Pokemon Sword and Shield, you can actually check the opponent's team after a battle. If they had that toggled on. So it was pretty easy to determine who was and who wasn't cheating. And it really wasn't as common as he makes it out. He makes it out like every single person is cheating, when in actuality most people aren't. Like, there's a subsection of people that do, but at the same time, a lot of people do it because they just simply don't have the time to grind. And you know, I get that. That's why I money glitch on GTA, I don't have the time to grind. But when it comes to Pokemon, since it's something I do competitively, I'm not going to cheat. Because again, there's a thing called competitive integrity. And I just want to point out though, with cheating, there comes no real advantage. None. Because the thing is, while you can gen your Pokemon, if you give them illegal moves, illegal stats, illegal abilities, you're going to get sussed out immediately and banned. You know, as soon as someone reports you for that, you can get banned. So Verlis makes it out like it's super common and that cheating is so bad, like it's aimbot on R6 or something, when in actuality it's just saving people time. And what the hell is your obsession with Wolf Glick? You've had this obsession for the last, like, 8 years. 8+ years. What is your obsession with Wolf Glick? Are you just jealous because you couldn't even make it to Worlds? Like, don't get me wrong, I know I can't make it to Worlds, I'm not good enough. But I'm not sitting here accusing a former world champion of cheating because of that.
Just casually ignoring that in the same clip, we have someone that calls themselves a competitive Pokemon player admitting to cheating in Pokemon. Can't address that, but Wolfie is a confirmed cheater himself, and all he does is lie about it, especially after what happened in the Pokemon World Championships. So yeah, can't expect any integrity or anything legitimate from Wolfie. Actually, after rewatching the scene, I don't know what to make of it. Also, I can't show it on YouTube because of copyright, but it seems like Brando is the real Pokemon fan here, talking about transferring from Pokemon Go into Pokemon Home, that's how you get Magearna, shiny odds, and even mentioning the Masuda method. And there's a couple of replies, they're like, yo, it's insane that someone is talking about the Masuda method, and it's honestly an advanced mechanic inside of Pokemon, so you kind of know what you're talking about when you bring up the Masuda method, and then Drew's response is, nah, I don't know, I'm just hacking Pokemon. So Drew's the fake fan, but tried to leverage Pokemon, and that's also what made the scene extra weird, because he's like, yeah, I'm a fan of Pokemon, I play competitively. Then everyone's like, yo, Pokemon, and then the other guy's like, yo, Pokemon. But because everyone's played Pokemon Go, all the millennials are like, hey, oh yeah, Pokemon. So it's a really crazy scene, and if the Pokemon community wasn't so terrible and everything was so corrupt with hacked Pokemon, it would actually been like, yo, Pokemon getting attention on national television, that's awesome.
Okay, I'm just gonna get this out of the way first and foremost. I'm gonna start speeding it up here, guys. I'm sorry, we're gonna be here all fucking day. So Verlisify, where's your proof that Wolfie was cheating, or was knowingly using cheated Pokemon? Because yes, there's the whole Dream Ball Raichu thing, but as far as I remember, I could be wrong about this, guys, but as far as I remember, that was not an official tournament. So, if he wasn't using a cheated Pokemon in an official tournament, I wouldn't necessarily say he's a cheater. Now then, who the hell do you think you are to sit here and tell someone that they are or aren't a real fan? Am I not a real fan? I am a fan of Wolf. Am I not a real fan because of that? So, who the hell are you to tell someone they are or aren't a fan? And, another very, very important thing to point out here. The Masuda method is not that advanced of a mechanic. I'm going to give you guys a very, how am I going to word this? I'm going to give y'all an advanced explanation of the Masuda method. So, in Pokemon, you can breed for better stats and you can breed for shinies. What the Masuda method does is it ups your odds for getting a shiny from breeding. So, let's say you use Ditto, which is the most common Pokemon that you would use to breed with. You get a Ditto from, I don't know, let's say Spain, right? And you live in Canada or the US or wherever, right? Just a foreign Pokemon with another Pokemon, and boom, you have increased shiny odds. It's not that complicated. But Verlisify out here making it like, oh, you're just a great player if you know what that is and if you know how it works.
But then I'm also conflicted about Brando, because following Wolf Glick, quoting Wolf Glick even though he's a fraud and a cheater. Wolf Glick is a confirmed cheater that defends cheating and lies about it. You are not a real Pokemon fan if you follow Wolf Glick. And then that's where something like this goes from a more heartwarming, yeah, Pokemon and Survivor, to, wait a second, we're all just engaging with cheaters now, so it becomes a really sour, disgusting thing for Cloud.
Again, we have another example, and there are many more to come, of just more very pointless Wolf Glick slander for some reason. Because Verlisify thinks that's the cool thing to do. All the cool kids are out here slandering pro players, so might as well do it. Verlisify, I want you to understand something. The community coming together and having a good time with something is a good thing, alright? It does not matter what you think. You are just a salty crybaby who is mad because you couldn't even qualify for Worlds. That's all it is. That's all this whole situation is. It's just you trying to slander people. I will never understand people like you. It's pathetic.
And then we have the guy himself, Drew Basile. So Survivor really just exposed, I hack my Pokemon. And then he's just kind of out there acknowledging it and then getting attention on Twitter from it. What is this timeline? Even weirder. No one in the Pokemon community has ever heard of this dude. Now, I don't really know everyone that plays Pokemon competitively or professionally. Most of them have me blocked because I expose them all for cheating. But yeah, like, this is just the account made for the dude as a Survivor personality.
Again, I'm going to beg the question of, why is the community coming together a bad thing? Why do you see an issue with everything, Verlisify? You know, this is a very, we have a very inclusive and welcoming community here, and you just seem to despise everything this community stands for. My word of advice to you, Verlisify, is if you don't like this community and you hate it so much, then leave. Because all you're doing is causing problems for everybody else. We're all out here trying to have a good time and trying to be friends, and you're out here too focused on tearing everyone down to care. Like, you can't even realize the good that's coming from the community because you're so hell-bent on tearing it down. That's what people's issues are with you, Verlisify. It's not that, oh, we just hate Verlis. No, it's because you're a dickhead and you slander people. You know, just like the people that have you blocked, they don't have you blocked because you quote-unquote exposed them for cheating. They have you blocked because you slandered them. It's very simple. It's not rocket science.
But the Pokemon community found out about it, and they're replying to kind of prop this up. This is our moment, guys. This is the Pokemon community shot to get more attention and more hype. So we have Gavin. Wait a second. He admitted to cheating for Worlds and's been caught hacking and is a champion. That just kind of shows how bad the cheating problem is in Pokemon. So Drew, come out to LA VGC tournaments. Exactly, like they're just finding out about this guy and they're trying to grab him and bring him in to VGC because they so desperately need any kind of attention. So again, no one in the Pokemon VGC community knows about this guy. They're now just trying to get him to the events. I would, but I'm living in Europe right now. People didn't know he was even in Europe. Might hit up Liverpool EUIC in the spring. Bro, you just admitted to hacking Pokemon. Fortunately, the Pokemon company is corrupt and doesn't care, but maybe something's going to happen. Like, this is our chance. If you want legitimacy inside of Pokemon, this is when you share the story.
So let me get this straight. You want us to make it hell for the Pokemon company for what? Because you're jealous? Because other people are doing well and having fun and you're not? This is much deeper than simply your ego got hurt. This is you need a reality check. You need to take a step back, or a few, look in the mirror, and realize what the issue is. I'm not making this video just to hate on you, by the way. I'm making this video as legitimate criticism. I don't understand what your issue is. I never have. It's crazy. You want us to go and make it hell for the Pokemon company, because why? Isn't the community growing and expanding a good thing? Isn't that a net positive for everybody involved in the community? Why do you have to make this the sour, disgusting thing that you talked about earlier? Why do you have to be that guy? You could just be a normal person and realize everyone's having fun. But no, you have to ruin it for everybody. It takes one bad apple to spoil the bunch. And why are you so focused on being that bad apple? I have no clue.
Now, I made a post about this, and I ask that you please share everything. Share this video, share the post, leave likes, comment everywhere to try to get the algorithm to boost this as much as possible. Also, we need that spillover into the Survivor community. If there's any interest, the people need to know what is going on in Pokemon. That is how we get change. We need to make this incident.
Okay, but I just have one major question about this whole tweet you made. Why should we boost and promote lies and slander like yours? Especially when... Okay, regardless of what y'all's take is on this, he told someone to kill themselves over Pokemon. I do not care what your take is. That is horrible. That is something that I do not condone whatsoever. Verlisify, you're out here trying to make you're out here trying to get everyone to rally behind you. For what? So you can keep slandering? So you can hopefully sweep that under the rug? Because you can try and say you meant egg whites all you want when you said base liquids. base liquids is not egg whites. Base liquids is shit like bleach. The stuff that can kill you. Don't give us none of this shit about, we need to listen to you. You're the only good actor in the community. Don't give us none of that because we ain't buying it.
A nightmare for Nintendo and the Pokemon Company, because now the world knows that 99% of Pokemon players are just out there cheating, and it's ruining all the events, it's ruining the esport, and it's making it impossible for anyone to have legitimate play.
I actually waited until now to address this point. The Pokemon Company is not corrupt, as he says, and I'm going to cite his own words. At the beginning, he talked about the cheating controversy with people getting disqualified for cheating. He literally contradicted himself. I did not contradict him, he did that to himself. 99% of us don't cheat. That is a gross exaggeration, and you know, sure, you can exaggerate for making a point in your video, but you legitimately believe that 99% of people cheat. I'm a shiny hunter. I have a lot of shinies that I built for competitive teams. If I were to face you normally, you would call me a cheater. You are the problem. You need to realize that.
There's also an angle of mainstream spillover now, because parents, if you've heard your kid is a fan of Wolf Glick or talks about watching Pokemon content, they are only being taught how to lie, cheat, and steal for gain, because these people are bad actors and it has been proven time and time again. Or if your kid comes up to you and says, hey, there's a Pokemon tournament in town, can you take me? Well, you're just getting scammed out of $70 because your kid is going to lose to people hacking and cheating their game. Also, it's a very bullying, abusive, and harassing community if you're not in the in-crowd of cheaters, not to mention the creeps, and you can't say the P-file word on YouTube, but the Pokemon community is filled with them, which actually makes a lot of sense because it's a kid's game, so there's going to be a lot of targets, and I'm the only person in the Pokemon community talking about that as well, just kind of showing how terrible everything is.
Alright guys, so I have a lot to say about that clip there. So, first and foremost, Verlisify wants to try and give this slander PSA to parents, so I'm going to tell y'all the actual truth, which highly doubt any parents are watching this, but Verlisify here is the bad actor that he's trying to warn everyone about. Not the whole pedo part, but just about everything else with the bullying, with the toxicity, with the slander. That is him. He is the one doing that. And then he blames other people for it. So, you are very much so projecting, and you are the least credible source that I have found so far when it comes to competitive Pokemon, because you have no idea what you're talking about, okay, Verlisify? That's first and foremost, okay? And you want to talk about an abusive, bullying, and harassing environment? You told someone to kill themselves over Pokemon. You remember that, don't you? You told someone to kill themselves because they disagreed with you. That is... For you to call anyone a bad actor is wild. And then he goes on saying that it's a scam to go and compete in official tournaments for insert reason. It's really not. Not everyone is cheating. Not everyone is cheating. He is just paranoid, and he's upset at the fact that, again, he can't compete because he's bad. You know, I hate to be that guy, but skill issue. Case in point, skill issue. That's all it is. So, yeah, it's not a scam. Not everyone is cheating. He goes on about the, circling back around to the bullying part of that. You know, growing up, I was bullied. I got bullied all throughout school. So I know what bullying looks like. I know what bullying is. And I have to say, I have not been bullied or harassed by the Pokemon community. It is by far the most friendly, the most inclusive community I've been a part of. It's the best community that I've been a part of. And, you know, looking back, I would do it all over again. you know, I wouldn't change a single thing. The Pokemon community is amazing. You know, obviously there's bad actors in every community. We're talking about one right now. But enough about me. Why do you always throw the pedo accusation at people for Verlisify? We want an answer for that one. Didn't someone have a mental breakdown because you kept calling them a pedophile, and then people actually wound up believing you? Didn't someone have a mental breakdown about that? Didn't the same person also contemplate suicide because of that? Like, you really need to take a step back and look at what you're doing and look at what you're saying. Because, dude, you are giving the entire community a bad look.
So the only good thing that can come from this is getting the word out on how immoral and predatory the Pokemon community is. Now, a lot of replies for both contestants are defending cheating, but we got this funny one right here. They filmed 48 hours of footage for 15 contestants for a 90-minute show. I can reveal my Pokemon secrets. It'll never make error. And then, would Nintendo allow that? Probably not. And this is what I mean. We need to make this a headache for Nintendo and the Pokemon Company. Their corruption cannot cover this up any longer, and they finally need to act on the massive cheating problem that's going on in Pokemon. And if you're more curious as to how big the cheating problem really is, check out the description. We have countless videos just on non-stop cheating in every aspect of Pokemon, all the cover-ups, and just generally how terrible the Pokemon community is.
Okay, so the community is not predatory. You have yet to give us a legitimate example of how this community is predatory. I'm waiting. I am genuinely waiting. I will take this point back if you can actually prove to me how the community in and of itself is predatory. But you can't prove it. So therefore, I'm not going to retract what I've said, and I'm not going to listen to you. The Pokemon Company, as I said earlier, it's not corrupt. You're just mad. You're just salty and you're spiteful for no reason. And your videos that you're trying to plug in the description, it's just a bunch of lies and slander. Sure, maybe there's some truth somewhere in those videos with what you say, but you have ruined any sense of credibility that you could have had. You know, back in, I think it was 2016 is when you really started riding on Wolf, trying to cancel him, trying to say he was a cheater. You destroyed your credibility when you did that. You absolutely ruined yourself, and now you expect people to believe you. Please, stop joking.
Which brought me to another crazy thing. Like, there's just no sense of community inside of Pokemon, outside of all the cheaters defending each other and nepotism and weird stuff going on. There's no organization, there's no due diligence, there's no proper reporting, but when it comes to the Survivor fandom, we actually have an article that digs in, like, how good of a Pokemon player is the contestant Drew Basile? That's what I was wondering. I've never heard of the guy, and it seems like no one in the Pokemon community has heard of them, and now they're all trying to co-opt him. But we actually have someone outside of Pokemon doing research on the Pokemon community, and what they find is, we don't know. This is mostly because, according to the extraordinary competitive Pokemon database, Limitless VGC, there are no notable placements for a player going by that name. This means that even if he has competed or done well, he has never managed to crack the top cut of the events. So he's like, yeah, I'm a competitive Pokemon player, is nerding out with Pokemon on the show, but he's not even good. He has nothing notable. Thus, his win and loss records alongside the teams of Pokemon he chooses to use are his private information unless he chooses to share it with the world. It really feels like this is a dude that just plays Pokemon Showdown and then hacks in his teams to play on the ladder and then gets slapped. Now, this is the funny thing. There's even a note on the website. Unfortunately, he may not find future success either, as his competitive future has been put in jeopardy by Survivor itself. On the show, he mentions he uses hacked Pokemon, which is against the rules and has resulted in players being disqualified. Ooh, what do they link to? I didn't check that. The Pokemon World Championships disqualifying everyone. This is what I mean. We need more mainstream attention in the gaming community, or just in general, so people understand how bad it is inside of Pokemon, and it takes a Survivor writer to actually tap into that more than anyone else in the Pokemon community.
Okay, Verlisify, your only notable achievement in the last 8 years is that you're stuck in Wolf's Shadow. That's your only notable achievement in the last 8 years. So we don't want to hear anything about you talking about someone else's notable achievements when the only thing you can do to make a name for yourself is slander people, okay? That's first and foremost. And I would also like to point out that all you do is slander. When you don't like someone, you slander them or you start shit with them. There's no in between. There's no in between with you. I don't know what your issue is. We don't know what your issue is. But you have an issue with people who are more successful than you because you are jealous. And that needs to stop, because this is why you have ruined your image. This is why nobody respects nor trusts you. And you are also to blame for people not having a competitive future, quote unquote, right? You are also to blame for that. That is partially your fault. You try to spread the message and spread the slander, and it gets people disqualified. Even if they weren't cheating, with how many of your loyalists there are to harass people, it wouldn't surprise me if you've actually gotten people disqualified who weren't cheating. It wouldn't surprise any of us. It really wouldn't. We just... I don't know. We rejected you because we as the community, right? Not we as in me. We as in the community, we rejected you because of your slander. And you're mad that we rejected you because of your slander. That doesn't make any sense to us. You know, if you could be halfway decent to the rest of the community, we would have kept you around. But no, you decided that the best course of action was for you to, you decided the best course of action was for you to continue making all this drama content, all these drama videos to try and piss everyone off. So this is what you got.
And my hope is that my posts and videos about the cheating problems in Pokemon just makes it to the right person. The journalist that's looking for their big break and crazy story, or the person whose uncle actually works at Nintendo to get something done about this.
So, wait a minute. You want us to prop up your lies and slander so that you can hold some position of power? So that way anyone who, I don't know, has a competitively built shiny Pokemon, I mean, you guys can see in the gameplay here, I have shiny Pokemon that I built specifically for competitive. So you want to just automatically disqualify people that you either A, don't like, or B, have certain Pokemon on their team, or have shinies, or whatever the hell. Like, no, you just want to abuse authority so you can pick who gets to play and who doesn't because you lost. That's really all it is. It's just a massive skill issue. And the best way to cope with a skill issue is to simply get better. I don't want to be that guy, but you simply have to get better. It is a skill issue. Case in point.
The Pokemon community itself is too much of a cesspool, and the influencers are just bad actors that are going to keep covering up how big the problem is. So even though we had this massive disqualification issue at Worlds, it didn't get that mainstream coverage. So it'd be crazy in the wildest timeline if it actually broke from Survivor, and that being national news and the exposure to parents and all the people that needed to hear how bad the Pokemon community is. That's what makes Nintendo and the Pokemon Company respond. So this dude seemed to realize himself the error of mentioning it all. Survivor really just exposed I hacked my Pokemon. He posted on X, formerly known as Twitter. His only hope is that Officer Jenny might let him off the hook. I really hope so, or that Nintendo isn't watching too closely. That's why I'm making these videos and posts, to make sure Nintendo can't ignore it. But yeah, this is the crazy stuff. Sorry, Drew, you might have to get into Digimon now instead. Yo, this author is fire.
So, another thing I want to point out, right, I'm not the greatest Pokemon player of all time, and I'll admit that I ain't very good. But at the same time, neither is Verlisify. I just want to get that out of the way here because I forgot to say this earlier. But another thing, why are you so focused on tearing down the Pokemon community? The community that you so proudly proclaim to be a part of. Why are you so bent on tearing it down? Make it make sense. And I'm just gonna put this out there now. No wonder Verlis is saying the author is fire, quote unquote, and no wonder the article is the way it is. So, how do I word it? No wonder the article seems like it's just poking at him, right, and being spiteful. Because if you pay close attention to the end part where he gets to the bottom of the article, if you pause on that frame and read about the author, they're a lefty. It makes sense why they're so spiteful. It makes sense why Verlis is so spiteful. And this isn't to be political or anything, I'm a centrist, but they're a lefty. No wonder they are so spiteful. Just like Verlis, he acts like a lefty. He doesn't get his way, and he becomes spiteful and hateful. And he just, I don't get it. I don't understand what the point of that is. Nothing but a bunch of lies and slander, and then picking on people who are really just trying to mind their own business. We don't understand.
And it's also incredibly surreal to think that some random person editing the show thought it would be interesting to put in the little quip about hacking Pokemon, because with the video, they kind of do it like a time-lapse, where like, yeah, the Masuda method, and oh, and Pokemon Go, and I transfer, and there's Magirna, and then it just ends with, oh, and I pay some dude to hack my Pokemon. Like, again, out of all the footage, someone decided to put that in there for the drama, and it could actually be like a major incident for Nintendo and the Pokemon company. It's insane to me. But also, I thought this year's Pokemon Worlds was going to do it. I also thought when Wolf first got confirmed to be a cheater, I thought that was going to do it. So the corruption of the Pokemon company, the largest franchise in the world, is also unbelievably deep. Seen these crazy stories fizzle out before because the Pokemon community is just that toxic. The Pokemon company has invested so much into their influencers like Wolf Glick that they cannot address the cheating problem at all, or else the entire scene falls apart. But it absolutely deserves to. However, like I said, I've seen so much of this go on and nothing come from it that I can only hope. I'm not expecting anything. But regardless, this is an absolutely insane, crazy story. So if you guys enjoy the video, hope you all have a nice day. Share it with everyone. Thank you very much for watching.
Okay, so finally, we are at the end of this video. I had to watch this multiple times over while making the script, while writing down some key points. So here's the conclusion. He said a bunch of nothing and tried to slander people. That is the conclusion I came to when I watched this video. Is that he is just spiteful and does not want people to succeed. He is jealous of others' success for some reason. Now then, by virtue of the fact that I had to sit through this brain rot multiple times over to make this video, I would really appreciate it if y'all would share this to people who might be interested, and if you guys would subscribe. It would help out my channel and it'd make me happy. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.